Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming. Today we're going to go over some D&D 5e character creation. So today I'm going to walk you through building Terrance, a first level monk fisherman hill dwarf, also known as a gold dwarf. I'm going to walk you through the entire process as far as assigning racial abilities, picking the class, assigning everything to the character sheet, as well as rolling dice today. First off, let's write down the name. This is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character sheet. Number 2 is concept. Let's get the concept down. So for this concept, we have, I'm hoping for a hardy, wise, cultured, chill, lithe kind of guy. With Terrance, if I can nail those things, then I'll be golden. Now, for the first thing that you want to do for your characters is you want to establish a race. In D&D, there are so many races to choose from because there are so many worlds. There are so many realms. Picking out the race is important, and I chose Dwarf. And I also chose the subrace of Gold Dwarf, or also known as a Hill Dwarf, and they get a bonus to their Constitution, and Hill Dwarfs get a bonus to their Wisdom. Assigning the racial trait to the sheet. We can put those right over here. And as a Dwarf, Terrance is going to get Dwarven combat training, Dwarven resilience, and Dwarven toughness. Those are really good skills to have. Those are really good traits. What I think is really cool is Dwarven combat training allows him to be proficient with the battle axe, a hand axe, a light hammer, and a war hammer. And then with Dwarven resilience, he gets to have advantage on saving throws against poison, and he'll have resistance against poison damage. And lastly, Terrance is going to be more hardy with this racial ability, the Dwarven toughness. His hit point maximum is going to increase by 1, and it increases by 1 every time he gains a new level. Now, Terrance is a dwarf, so he also gets dark vision and stone cunning, and he'll also have a 25-foot movement speed, and then a proficiency bonus of +2. Dark vision allows you to see in darkness as though it's dim light, and you can see on a gray scale. You can make out features, but you can't make out fine detail. Some people really love dark vision. I know I do. I love to build characters so that I'm not getting stuck in a dungeon needing to always be wielding a torch. That is just a mess. Dwarves also have stone cunning. So stone cunning means that Terrance is going to be able to dive into the origin of stonework using history checks, and he gets to double his proficiency bonus in that skill. Now, that means that if he's walking through a dungeon and he's wondering what mason designed that door hinge, he can figure it out with a little bit more help than other people. He may not always be able to figure it out, but he can definitely try. And next on the list is Smith's tools. He's going to be definitely proficient in Smith's tools because I have a feeling that my monk is going to be crafting his own darts. That sounds fun. Why not? Why not? I like to follow the rules of always be crafting. And that's all the benefits that a dwarf gets at first level. Picking the class. So I've already picked some monk. With a monk, he gets to be proficient in quite a few things. And at first level, I think that we all know how hard it is to get by sometimes at first level. So sometimes you need all the help that you can get. And monks are definitely a DPS character, a damage per second character. So that's something to dive in with monk. For a monk, the primary abilities that we're working with are dexterity and wisdom. Those are going to be a monk's primary abilities. Terrance is going to be proficient in simple weapons as well as monk weapons. And then he'll also be proficient in dexterity and strength saving throws. Also, he will be proficient out of acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. I'm going to choose stealth and insight. Yeah, there we go. That sounds good. Also, he's going to be proficient with a harp and cooks utensils. I think those are great skills for him, because with this background that I chose, those are gonna be pivotal. For him, a short sword. So I picked an explorer's pack to start, and then he comes with 10 darts. Now, he gets a feature as part of being a monk, and that really cool feature is martial arts. So at first level, Terrance's practice of martial arts gives him the mastery of combat styles that use unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are usually short swords and any simple melee weapons that don't have the heavy property or the two-handed property. If all of those conditions are met, then he gains the following benefits. So usually to hit with an unarmed strike for any other character outside of monk, that is going to be a strength modifier. And then he gets to roll a d4 in place of normal damage. And the normal damage is usually the strength modifier +1. If he uses the attack action on his turn with an unarmed strike or his monk weapon, well, then he gets to use a bonus action to make another unarmed strike. One thing I really love about a monk at first level is their unarmored defense. Beginning at first level, while he's wearing no armor and not wielding a shield, his AC equals 10 plus his dexterity modifier and his wisdom modifier. So things can really skyrocket at first level. You'll see that the hit die for a monk is a d8. Now that is going to come into play when we add up the hit points later on. A monk starts with 5d4 gold pieces, and we are actually going to roll those out. So here we are, and that is a 3, a 4, a 3, yep, 12. So those are all of the things that you get for a monk. The next step is rolling out the ability scores. We're actually going to roll them out here. 14. That's awesome. $14 again. Now this is my first time rolling these out. When I'm adding these up, just to let you know, I'm definitely scared. I don't want to make any mistakes on camera here. 11. Yes. Awesome. Anything is better than minus numbers. Anything is better than modifiers in the negative. Oh, 17. Yeah. I'm probably gonna throw that to wisdom. I'm excited to see what I can do with that in wisdom, because monks can be crazy. Oh, 12. 12 is good. 12 is good. See? Anything above a negative. Last. There. Nothing below a 10. Nothing. That's amazing. That's amazing for a first level character. Sometimes I have a home rule when I'm a dungeon master where I will allow the players to drop ones. My players, they really enjoy that. We're going to plug these numbers in. Now with the monk, like I said, we're focusing on dexterity and wisdom, and I said hardy, so I want to be kind of constitutionist. I'm going to move my 17 to wisdom, 14 to con, 14 to dex, 12 to charisma, 11 to intelligence, and 10 to strength. Now I'm going to add the 1 and the 2 to those two ability scores. Let's fill in the ability modifiers so that everyone understands that those are ability modifiers in red below the ability scores in black. We're going to add our constitution modifier to the D8 because you get the maximum amount of your hit die at the first level. And then later on, you'll be rolling out those hit die at each level and then adding the con on top. So at first level, max hit die, D8. Add the con, boom. Add Dwarven toughness, boom. Those are good for Terrance. 12 at first level. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. I think we're going to live forever. What do you say? What do you think? I don't want my character to die first level. First level, as you can tell, I build a character to last I've had quite a few characters die at first level, and it's not very fun. It's not very fun. It's very disheartening. Now, let's fill in the saving throws. We're proficient in strength and dexterity, so that's a 2 and a 4. And then the rest, we're just going to follow along with the ability modifiers. And then finally, moving on to the background, I chose Fisher. This is the next step, choosing your background, Fisher. So with a Fisher, I get an extra language. So I decided that his fishing rod is built by the elves. So he has a fishing rod and he goes to the elves for that. As a Fisher, you get to be proficient in the history and survival skills. Let's fill those in here. Clean it up a little bit. Whenever he's around water that is a resource that has living things in it, he can feed 10 people a day and himself. So he's eating really well, you know. I'm saying he's a hardy character. You know, he's healthy. He's healthy. When you're picking a background, they give you a bunch of fun things. There's always personality traits, ideals, flaws, and bonds. Let's add our attack modifiers to finalize here. We have a +4 to our attacks because we're using our dexterity modifier +2 plus our proficiency bonus. So 2 + 2 is 4. So +4 to attack with our short sword or unarmed strike. And these gold pieces right here show 12. And we're going to add the background gold pieces that you're given. Here you go, the 10 here. So 12 and 10, that's 22. His AC is now a 10, plus his dexterity modifier of 2, and then his wisdom modifier of 4 gives him an AC of 16. Usually, initiative is derived straight from dexterity. Unless you have a feat or a class feature that changes this, it's usually dexterity that is your main ability modifier that gives you your initiative. And I forgot to add these, but as a race, as a dwarf, he does get common and dwarven as languages. I hope you enjoyed this character sheet. I hope you liked the way that I was drawing this on with the dry erase markers. It's an easy and efficient way for me to get these things settled and put together. I really enjoy it. I picked up the idea from my very first gaming group, and I've been sticking to it for ever since then. I run my initiative tracker on the very other side of that page. So that's where I'm at with my dungeon mastering. So basic NPCs and big time NPCs usually go on that character sheet. Next time you might see a big bad on that character sheet. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Let me know what you think. I would love to make another one. Thank you all for your excellent advice, and thank you all for your comments. Keep on leaving them, and I will keep on making videos.